Tres Zapotes, Mexico, 1938. Archaeologist Matthew Sterling is excavating an ancient site once occupied by the Olmec people, a lost Mesoamerican civilization dating as far back as 1200 BC. As Sterling's team unearths and catalogs numerous artifacts, they notice a number of unusually large, rounded boulders buried nearby. What emerges from the ground are, quite literally, some of the largest archaeological finds of the 20th century. Over the next several decades, 17 colossal heads carved from solid basalt were ultimately discovered in the area, the largest measuring a staggering 11 feet tall and weighing 50 tons.
When you walk up to these imposing, stone monuments, you see these things are huge with these just amazing lifelike features. It would have taken thousands of people to drag these stones through the rainforest, through mud and swamps, onto the tops of their sites.
But perhaps what's most striking about these giant heads is not their size, or how they were brought to the middle of the jungle, but rather who they seem to be depicting.
The colossal heads have an African appearance, but also equally, they've been seen to have a Polynesian appearance as well. Is it possible that the Olmec were the result of trans-Pacific or even transatlantic migrations of peoples from other continents?
Although mainstream historians dismiss the notion that the Olmec originated in Asia or Africa, the appearance of the Olmec heads suggests that it is possible. But not only do we not know where the Olmec came from, we also don't know where they went.
One of the real frustrations to archaeologists who study the Olmec is that we don't have a single Olmec skeleton that we can look at and analyze. For over 1,000 years, the Olmec were the culture in the middle of Mesoamerica, but then they faded away. And why exactly they stopped is something we're not sure of.
The Olmec disappeared so completely, all that's left of them are scattered remains. Some sculptures and figurines, which means if we're to answer the riddle of the Olmec's disappearance, there's only one place to look. Those huge, imposing stone heads, staring back at us through time with their odd, sphinx-like gazes.
One of the most remarkable discoveries in connection with the art of the Olmec is the presence of magnetism in a number of different statues. When a compass is brought up to them, the needles move.
But archaeologists in the late 1960s and early 1970s used magnetometers to find many of the most remarkable colossal heads.
The Olmec heads probably gave off magnetic signatures because they're made of basalt, the dense volcanic rock that becomes magnetic as it cools.
So by making the heads of basalt that came from the volcano itself, that same energy was inherited by those colossal heads. What all of this suggests is that the Olmec went out and deliberately chose rocks that had this magnetic effect.
Magnetic stones. If the Olmec were harnessing magnetism, what were they using it for?
There are many theories about how the Olmecs may have used magnetism. One interesting speculation is whether they could have moved some of the large stones using magnetic levitation. It's very simple to get magnets to either attract or repel each other if their poles are opposing. It's difficult to imagine even using modern moving technology to move very large stones, yet they were moved.
Levitation? It's a fascinating theory, although one that's hard to prove.